Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, sir. We're from Group 4, want to present to you about differences between developed and developing countries when dealing with COVID-19. But before, let me introduce our group members. Next, okay. So, my name is Rizka Zanuba, and the next is Adliyatuz Zulfah, and the third one is Amandalisa, and the last but not least, Yedida Putri. Next. A quick information for all of you. All countries in the world are divided into two types. It calls developed countries and developing countries. Developed countries are countries that already have a high technology and even level of economy, while developing countries are countries where the level of welfare of the population is still in the middle or in the developing stage. Then, what makes these countries developing and developed? It's all because of the difference in various aspects, such as infrastructure, economy, population equality, also in science and technology. And today, we're gonna learn developed and developing countries in Asia continent, which is Japan and Vietnam, and how they overcome COVID-19. Next. Developed countries will be presented by Adliyatuz Zulfah.
Japan is one of the largest and most developed economies in the world. It has a well-educated industry workforce and is large. Affluent population makes it one of the world's biggest consumer market. Japan doesn't have a lot of natural resources, so cleverly, Japan relies on what it does have and maximizes its potential. The country has a long tradition of honesty that keeps people working hard and working together. Less time has to be spent on security and more effort can be devoted to development. Next. Japan got off to a bad start dealing with the pandemic when it quarantined the diamond princess ship for 2 weeks in Yokohama after passengers were infected with COVID-19. They tried to identify the cluster and determine the common characteristic. And they found that most clusters originated in establishments where people gather, such as gym, pubs, live music venues, karaoke rooms, jet, sing, rubbing shoulders for relatively extended periods of time. Next. So, what will Japan do next? Japan's national and local government don't have the legal power to impose lockdown measures, but either is to urge people to stay home as much as possible. Companies to allow working from home and bars and restaurants to close or serve only takeout. Next. Japan applied a simple special advice that is avoided the 3C: closed space, crowded place, and close contact settings. They were able to control this infection trend in just 45 days. It sounds simple, but this has been the most important component of the strategy. Next. The principle of avoided 3C has proven to be effective there. Japan announced the emergency response period in its territory were over. Japan declared a victory in its battle with COVID-19 and it triumphed by following its own playbook. It brought down the number of daily new cases to near target level of zero point 0.5 from 100,000 people with voluntary and very restrictive social distancing and without large-scale testing.
Okay, the next presentation will be presented by Amandalisa.
Vietnam is a developing country with a population of about 84 million people, which makes Vietnam the 13th most populous country in the world. And why is Vietnam categorized as a developing country? Because the quality of the population is still low income per capita is low, level of health is low, infant mortality rate is high, and education is low. This is what makes Vietnam still a developing country. But even though Vietnam is a developing country, Vietnam is considered the best country in handling the pandemic and managed to rank second best in the world in handle COVID-19. At the beginning of the pandemic in January, the Vietnam government moved quickly and decisively in dealing with the threat of the coronavirus. The government closed flights from Wuhan, and the end of March, Vietnam had almost completely closed all of the country border. The move was followed by massive testing, aggressive contact tracing, and more public health outrage. The government requires all residents to wear masks, and this is certainly well followed by Vietnam residents. And the Vietnam's government also imposed a strict lockdown on April 1 to 22, where those who were still suspect of being positive for COVID-19 were ordered to undergo quarantine in hospital, state facility, and at home. And the most important thing is the positive response of the Vietnam city and have a sense of trust in their leader, whereas many as 97% of Vietnam city reportedly agree to their government step in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. This makes Vietnam the best country in handling COVID-19 in the world.
Okay, the last slide will be present about conclusion. Will be presented by Yedida.
Okay, thank you, Rizka. So, how to fight the COVID-19? As we all know that coronavirus has become our enemy since 2019. It disturbs, break all our plans, torment us, put the world in chaos, and even changing the world systems. Overall, the presentation above, these are the three main points we gotta do to fight this virus. The first one, we need to build a great teamwork in our country to follow the government's instructions. The second one, trust the government's decisions. And the last one, we have to think advance in the middle of this chaos. As long as the people inside the country itself can understand the situation, change their mindset, adapt quickly with the changes, and not being contaminated with the bad issues about the situation, this will mean a lot and give so much help to the country, especially the health workers whom has been becoming our hero to cure this virus. So, in conclusion, the differences between how developed and developing country isn't the main reasons how every country overcome this virus, but the most important things are the positive response and the sense of trust to the government from the citizens in each country.
Alright, that's all from us. Thank you for your guys' attention. And Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.